creatives and art is always at the vanguard of culture or any type of change, I feel like there's an opportunity for us to be the ones to determine what everyone else does in terms of like, you know, TV and film. I think they'll start to follow suit. My name is Carl Jones. I came from the animation world. I produced Black Dynamite, Freaknik the Musical. I did Jellies with Tyler the Creator. Done some stuff in the live action space like The Last OG, Season 3, The Boondocks. I was really surprised that The Boondocks took off the way that it did. All of us were, you know, because I mean, honestly, it was just a group of friends in a room, you know, trying to make each other laugh and you know, making a show that we thought would be fun to make. And a lot of us had no real TV experience. You know, we were just taking a stab in the dark. And, you know, we didn't have like social media the way that it is now. So there wasn't like a way to gauge the success of it right away. But once we did see that it began to catch on, especially like going to Comic-Con, that's when it really started to register. Like we might have done something special. So Bubblegoose Ballers was originally created from a character that I drew when I was a kid. There was a lot of ballers in my neighborhood were wearing Bubblegoose coats, right? And so it became almost like a status symbol to me. Like if you saw a guy with a Bubblegoose coat, you knew he was making money and he was able to afford things that I couldn't afford, right? So it made its way into my art. So I started designing these characters that would wear these big Bubblegoose coats. And then one day I just drew this goose, this really goofy looking goose with a giant bill. And I put a Bubblegoose coat on him. And this character just kind of stayed with me through my whole life. Like I've always kept a sketchbook and that's the character that just kept reoccurring all the time. And then years later, you know, when I started learning about the NFT space, I felt like that was a good place to reintroduce this character to the world and to build a community around it and see if we can actually turn it into another series. It's gonna be 10,000 geese and there's gonna be a lot of rarities. And I think people will be really excited. Creatives and art is always at the vanguard of culture or any type of change. I feel like there's an opportunity for us to be the ones to determine what everyone else does in terms of like, you know, TV and film. I think they'll start to follow suit and it'll put them in a position where, when I say them, I mean the networks and the big studios, to play fair and to treat us creatives with more respect. There was never really any ownership in the television paradigm, right? It's always been about, we buy it from the creator, and if you're lucky, we might hire you to work on it. And I think now there's so many other possible avenues to go in terms of like distribution that it's forcing the networks to play by a different set of rules. Yeah, the long-term vision, honestly, is to build a multimedia company that will allow other creatives that don't necessarily have the pedigree that I have and the credentials that I have to cultivate IP, you know, build worlds, establish their own communities, and do something like Pixar or Disney is doing, but in Web3.